This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins Stratos Winged Warrior. This is what is commonly referred to as the Naked Stratos, because the mainline version, I guess you could say, ended up having a gray body, even though he is furry um, all over. He's still considered to be clothed that way and naked this way. Also, kind of funny though is his feet don't actually have any toes. So we take a look at the back of the box, and we have Stratos fighting some kind of sea creature alongside He-Man. Powerful, agile, and a natural leader, the mighty Stratos battles evil all over Eternia. He comes with clip-on wings for his arms, and you can basically pretend he's flying. um, anyway, let's go ahead and open him up and take a look at him before I give away all the secrets while talking about him. So, of course, Stratos comes with the comic book, the little piece of paper that shows you all the removable parts. And the book is The Challenge of Jitsu. So our comic starts out with the sorceress greeting He-Man along with Stratos and Buzzoff. And this does not look like any version of Castle Grayskull I've really paid attention to, or I should say the inside. Doesn't look like the throne from the toy. It doesn't look like the throne room from the original cartoon series. I can't remember what the throne room looks like in any of the other series now that I think about it. But there is a problem with the Mystic Mountains where both Stratos and Buzzoff, their tribes, clans, make their homes. And as they travel using the Talon Fighter for He-Man, which is weird, and Stratos and Buzzoff both fly themselves, they find that Jitsu is fighting creatures on the mountaintop. And they call that a Manicore, and that is the most boring looking Manicore I have ever seen. But Jitsu is just beating the snot out of animals and creatures and such, waiting for a real challenge. So he gets all excited when he sees these brave warriors, and makes mention, does the little name drop of Skeletor, which is all He-Man needs to go ahead and say, no, we're going to kick your ass. So Stratos is beat by Jitsu, and so is Buzzoff, making them basically pointless for this series. He-Man comes in, the fight ensues, they break stuff, and in the end, He-Man kicks Jitsu's ass. Kind of looks like this might represent him crushing his metal hand, but because there are little cracks there, it looks like, but it doesn't actually look like he broke it off, or maybe he did. Nope, he didn't. And in the end, you have Buzzoff and Stratos together, and Stratos is just asking if we'll be putting him in his jail, in their jail, or in Buzzoff's jail. Ha ha ha, humor ensues. Of course, this is back when they were putting all the different characters that came out. If you remember, He-Man and Skeletor were a separate wave from everything else, which is why we had the shelves clogged with He-Mans and Skeletors. But we also have the Sorceress and Jitsu and Buzzoff as part of this wave. And you can note the version of Stratos that they put in this comic is the not naked Stratos. So, anyway, we'll pop Stratos out and throw him around, apparently. Stupid plastic tabs. Now, this is one of those cases that came later on where they actually had them set up to fit the extra equipment in the plastic. unlike earlier waves where all the extra equipment was just in a bag taped to the back of the plastic. So before we clip the wings on, let's go ahead and take a look at our boy Stratos. Said he's basically just wearing the underwear and a helmet. Wonder what his face looks like under there. I always thought it was weird because I kind of feel like he's got like a chimpanzee's face kind of here, what's shown. Unfortunately, on this Stratos 2, they did not fully cover the red of the plastic with the gray beard parts. Everything else looks like it's been painted more or less okay. But that's kind of sad. Articulation wise, of course, we've got the up and down, we've got the spin around, we got the single joint in the elbow, which of course has the ability to twist about, and you do the hokey pokey. The wrist spins and has the in and out hinge. Also to note, he's got a broken finger, which I will have to heat that up and straighten it out later. The waist spins around, kick up, kick back, knee bends at just over 90 degrees, foot hinges, and he's got a booted foot even though he's naked. Boot cut swirls, and the foot also spins. He also comes apart. We can take off his jetpack. I think the funny thing with Stratos here is he was like one of the first characters in the vintage line. Well, he was the first character in the vintage line where the backpack clipped in the front instead of the back, since his backpack has the jets on them. Also, in the case of this version, it does appear like the jetpack itself is a separate piece from the rest of the harness and glued together. We can pop his head off. We can pop his arms off. We can pop his... We can... apparently we can't take his body apart. Oh, there we go. His legs. His hairy legs. And we have a bunch of Stratos pieces all over the place. Fun bit of information, Stratos shares the same body as Beastman. That was part of the whole thing back in the 80s, where in order to save money as much as possible when it came to making things, they used the same body for multiple characters and did different heads. Of course, you could mix and match the arm parts too back then. He-Man and Man-at-Arms shared a body, Skeletor and Merman shared a body, and Stratos and Beastman shared a body. Other bit of information when it comes to Stratos here is that he was also meant to be a villain, apparently, at the beginning. If you look at some of the original Golden books, I believe he actually was pictured as a villain in one of them, one of the early ones. Now we got his little wing parts, which clip onto his wrists. Again, during the vintage era, if you've got a Stratos, which I don't actually have in my collection, I don't think, his wings actually clipped both on the front and towards the middle. And if you had classics, they just clipped on the front, but they glued them in place, and if the wing was off position, you were kind of screwed. They made up for that later on, because when they did, I think Stratos came in a 2-pack with a DC character at that point. He had the cuffs weren't actually glued on in that case. Also, one of the interesting things with the vintage version, which of course was gray and not naked, was that a second variation came out where the backpack was blue and the wings were red. Or were... oh man, now I can't remember. because they swapped the colors on the wings and the backpack in the vintage era, and I'm trying to think if the current Origins, if they had the red wings and the blue backpack. I don't think they did. Also, as a note, um, Barbarossa Customs has a kit out that you can order for Stratos, specifically Naked Stratos, that comes with two new hands, the clawed feet, or yeah, clawed feet that look like more of the artwork did, and he had this little feathered necklace that he wore, and a different belt. I have not ordered that one yet, but I would like to order that one in the future. I because you can only spend so much money at a time on stuff. So he pairs up well with the other Motu figures. And if we want, we can do a little bit of part swapping here if we feel like it, because why not? You could actually create some pretty monstrous looking Motu figures with the Origins line if you really wanted to. Now I'm kind of imagining taking the bottom half of the gray Stratos and just putting the torso on there so he looks like he's just bare chested instead. Anyway, apparently we're not going to be able to stick him on there. I do think that with Origins, especially with characters like Stratos and even Beastman, because I believe Beastman also had these feet, right? They should have given us some actual like feet to go with the characters that aren't wearing boots. Anyway, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.